content generation is old news with AI. And as you heard from Tristan, you can use content generation all over the place. You can use it for everything from transcripts to content for social media. And so if you're not at least using AI for content generation, then you're behind.
This is the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast.
Hey there, and welcome to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Josh Betcher, team lead with Moulin, Betcher & Associates with eXp. I'm your host, Ronald Quaroni. I'm a licensed mortgage broker in both Alberta and Saskatchewan, here to guide you through everything that you need to know about real estate in our incredible province. Before we jump in, I've got a quick favor to ask. If you're loving the content and want to stay ahead of the game in Saskatchewan's real estate market, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep creating this podcast and sharing valuable insights with listeners like you. And hey, I'm not just here on the podcast. I'm even sharing more updates and tips on behind-the-scenes content on Instagram and Facebook. Look me up, hit the follow button, and let's connect. Let's get into today's episode. Artificial intelligence. Some people are scared of it, some are excited by its endless opportunities. Today on the podcast, we want to explore both of these factions in the world of real estate. And to help me discuss this topic, I have eXp realtor Tristan Herring, who has been using AI tech to grow and streamline his business, and Shayne Zaba with NICS, who will help with some of the technical aspects of AI and its future potential. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
It's great to be here, Ron. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Tristan, let's start with you. Just give us a little background as yourself as a realtor quickly with eXp.
Yeah, so I'm fairly new. I guess 2.5 years in the business. So I'm with eXp Realty. Right now I'm on a team with an older agent in Saskatchewan. And I guess I don't really have a choice but to learn new technology as I'm new to the business. So yeah, I mostly do residential real estate, but I also do commercial and farm. So
wonderful. And we'll throw it to you, Shayne. Give us a little bit of background with your expertise in NICS.
Yeah, for sure. We are a managed service provider, so we help other businesses with their computers and technology. And our main value offering is that we test emerging technologies for value for our customers and also for risk. And we mitigate the risk and maximize the value and integrate those systems with their systems so that they're something they can leverage for competitive advantage.
Brilliant. Shayne, let's start it with you. I know that I've said this to you in the past, something along the lines of, there's not a lot happening in AI right now, like ChatGPT came out and then, no updates, no self-driving cars or, no robot in my kitchen making me a meal. And you said, there is massive things happening in the space. So for anyone who doesn't follow this month by month, week by week, just walk us through what is the latest and greatest of what's happening right now in AI?
I would say probably in the last, the thing is the horizon for AI is very fast moving. And so there's always something new and exciting, I would say on a week to week as opposed to month or quarter to quarter. In the last few weeks, the main thing that has been very exciting is just seeing some of these more effective models become available for people to use on their own compute. And so we've seen DeepSeek and a few other models get released where it's getting more and more feasible to take one of these AI models, an AI engine, so to speak, and run it on your own $10,000 or $15,000 machine or cluster of machines. Where you can have access and control over all the knobs, so to speak,
And I guess that's super exciting because the worry with AI was it was very energy intensive and there was going to need to be kind of an infrastructure overhaul in order to manage all of this AI that's coming along. And from my understanding, DeepSeek really gave the window opening that we might not need as much infrastructure put in place in order to maybe take advantage of some of this AI. Is that kind of your understanding from it, Shayne, or am I missing the mark there?
I would take that with a grain of salt. Yep. Yeah, I think it was very understated how much energy was used to build DeepSeek. It looks like in retrospect that it was a large team with billions of dollars in funding that actually drove that. And so, but I would say that the competition is driving that efficiency. So that is improving. There's new, DeepSeek did show some great promise and new approaches to training and self-training that are more efficient and more effective. I think also having a bunch of competing products and competing models will help with that. But I only see the demand for energy going up as AI continues to roll out. So.
Tristan, you'd mentioned that you're a fairly new agent, and I'd love to get kind of an emotional reaction to AI. On one hand, there's this, super exciting opportunity to streamline your business and make it easier. On the other hand, the more that technology takes over what we would do day to day, you might feel a little obsolete. Give me kind of your reaction to AI, being a young professional in an industry that is being transformed by artificial intelligence.
I think it's mostly the older generation of agents they have that initial freaked out reaction to AI. I mean, I think my generation is adopting it fairly well. We're just around it, but it's the older agents who are like, well, you can't replace me. My people love me for who I am. Right. And it's like, yeah, you can be replaced, but also people think like, well, okay, what am I going to be replaced as a real estate agent? Cause that was a big discussion for a long time. And it's like, well, no, you're still going to have a job, but how you do it might change. I think the early adopters are going to benefit greatly. It's kind of like, when the tractor was first introduced into agriculture, everyone freaked out. It was like, there's going to be no work for anyone. What are the laborers going to do? It's like, well, people still have to, fix the machine. Right. So, I don't know. People had the initial Terminator idea in their head when AI launched, but if you're scared of it, I think that's not the right attitude. You need to adopt it.
Walk me through a few of those ways that you've taken this in your business and you've adopted it. For anyone who's like an agent listening to this, or maybe another business owner, can you give us some examples of how AI has assisted you in assisting clients?
Yeah, like I don't even know where to start. Like I use it. I don't think people know how much I use AI. Just the amount of tools and applications that use AI now, because it's this new trending topic. Obviously, there's the big one. There's the Chat GPT, which, like you guys just talked about, now there's DeepSeek. I'm still on the Chat GPT train. I got to learn more about DeepSeek, but even generating ideas for social media content, just helping get the creative juices flowing. AI is even the base of that. Descript is something that I use a lot that has tons of AI generation. Like for example, my eye contact on video, it's fixing that so that I'm always looking at the camera. Creating scripts. Maybe you don't actually read the script that AI generates, but it's enough to get you a baseline to speed up the process. CapCut is something that I use. Like if you've seen my social media, I do lots of property tour videos. The sound can be fixed with AI. The same thing, the AI contact or the eye contact, captions. Like if you had to generate all your own captions instead of using AI captions would be a huge waste of time. Canva uses lots of to remove the background of images. So for someone like me who's creating marketing on the fly, to just slap together something in Canva, the old way of doing that, of tracing out, an object, was such a time burn, and the concentration to do that. Compass AI was something that I was using for a bit. I don't use it much anymore. Anyone who doesn't know what that is like it's a little like AI. How do I describe it? It's like a necklace that you carry with you that transcribes everything you talk about. So if you're a realtor and you're at an open house, or you're knocking on doors, or you're just having conversations with people, and you need to remember phone numbers, emails, stuff like that, or what somebody looks for in a house, you have written transcriptions of your whole day if you need it. And on top of that, it can send you task reminders based on that. In video AI, so for social media, if you need B-roll, which is just video of, like, say we're talking about stuff and you need to see an image of a tractor, AI and in video AI produces all that. You don't have to go filming extra stuff, and it's expensive to do that too. So it's significantly cheaper. Virtual staging in houses, like you can use AI to stage a room that's just a blank picture. My CRM system that I use now has adopted AI so much. And so I've built a school community around it, teaching people how to use it. But the short of it is AI can respond to my text messages. AI can respond to my Instagram DMs. AI can respond to my Facebook messages. And I have it set up that AI can answer my phone calls. So if somebody calls my phone, they'll get an AI assistant and it'll try to book the appointment, because I don't think people realize how often a realtor's phone rings with a garbage phone call of somebody who's not interested in a property, or maybe they pretend to be, and it's just a bad lead. But like, if you have someone who's trying to book appointments for you, it kind of helps save your time. And then what's coming with that system is pretty soon you're going to be able to do outbound calls on that system with an AI agent. So that's what I'm currently using it for. I'm sure I missed a lot. I could probably talk about that for hours on different things that I am using in different applications. There's also captions.ai, or sorry, yeah, I think it's called captions.ai, where you can basically generate an AI avatar of yourself and give it a script, and you can make as much content as you want. You don't even have to get in front of the camera that day. So those are some of the tools I use.
That's so brilliant. You know what it reminds me of? When you see those memes on social media where you have the picture of like the tape recorder, the TV, the record player, all these things, and now we all carry that around in our pockets. And in a large way, it sounds like you have this massive team that's working on your behalf. You have the marketing person, you have the AI assistant, you have the person who does your photos, but all of these things are now being wrapped up into technologies that you can quickly and efficiently deploy to help your business, saving you time, saving you money, and making you a lot more efficient. So I think the integration of AI is something that's super cool that you're taking it there. And Shayne, I'd love your perspective on it. I know we've had you on the podcast previously, and you've discussed kind of this idea, but what parts of the real estate transaction can you see AI affecting? And if you can elaborate on these, being mortgage loans, purchasing, appraisal, showing, stagings. And I know Tristan's done a great job of explaining how already some of this stuff is coming in, but just give us your in-depth perspective on where you see AI taking real estate in the future.
That sounds good. Yeah. And so I'm going to sound a little bit elitist. I don't mean to. Maybe I do. I don't know. But I just want to emphasize that for those of you listening and watching, content generation is old news with AI. And as you heard from Tristan, you can use content generation all over the place. You can use it for everything from transcripts to content for social media. And so if you're not at least using AI for content generation, then you're behind. And you need to, pull up your socks and sign up for some AI and get into it a little bit, because even that portion of it has a huge impact, as Tristan outlined. And so I'll give one example just to emphasize that, which is just the idea of using stock imagery and stock B-roll in your productions. Right, a stock image on something like Pond 5, which we used to use for stock imagery, you're talking minimum $3 to $5 an image. Some cases $30 to $100 an image, depending on the content. Whereas with something like Midjourney or these other AI image generation tools, you're paying $20 for hundreds, if not thousands of images a month. And so at a minimum, that's a good place to start for content generation. I would say that the cutting edge, which Tristan hinted at the end there, is now something that crosses industries very well. And so I'll tangent for a second and give a specific example. I had one of our service manager yesterday attended a security conference at Saskatchewan with one of our biggest network security vendors. And so to give you an idea where it is in the market, the people attending this conference are some of the biggest organizations. And so Canadian Light Source was there, and there was some pretty big players in the room on the security side. And what they're pitching now, this is a finished product that's rolling out, is AI that looks at security alerts. And so one of the problems we have in the security business is just that there's a lot of monitoring, there's a lot of sensors, and a lot of monitoring and a lot of sensors generates a lot of alerts. And so you get something which I think you guys can probably relate to, which is alert fatigue. And so you get to the point where you hit a critical threshold of too many alerts, and you just stop looking at any of them, right? And so the alerts become less and less useful the more and more of them there are. The problem is buried in those alerts, buried in the massive number of missed phone call notifications you have, there's going to be some phone calls, there's going to be some alerts that are very valuable, need to be actioned, that are time sensitive and need to be actioned quickly. And so this is the beginning of AI transitioning from content generation to assistant. And you're going to see a big push in that direction over the next, over the next 3 and 6 and 12 months. There's going to be breakthroughs every quarter on this in the next 2 years. And so on the practical side, for the people who are watching, I would say anybody who's using Copilot, anybody who is using any kind of Microsoft software for their productivity, if you're using Outlook, if you're using Word, if you're using Excel, you should be getting Copilot. You should be checking out Copilot. You should be trying to use it in your applications. Right? Copilot is the latest and greatest ChatGPT through Microsoft. And what they're offering you there is a properly siloed instance of AI, unlike ChatGPT, where you have some guarantee that none of your data, none of your queries are going to leak. They're not going to be exposed to anybody else. With the added benefit that AI also can ingest your data, can ingest your SharePoint data, your email data. So it's very integrated already. So there's not a lot of technical expertise required to set it up. It's mostly pay for the license and add it to your user. And then the first place to start using it aside from content generation. So obviously first place to use it is content generation in your Word applications to help you generate scripts or anything else like that. But after that, the cutting edge is notifications. That's the beginning of using it as an agent. And so using it in your Outlook, so it depends on how many emails you get a day. If you're getting 5 emails a day, you probably don't need Copilot to help you with your emails, right? But as you grow and as you increase all these other automations and tools to help you do more business with less effort, you reach these bottlenecks where, all of a sudden I have 200 emails a day. I feel like I'm a slave to my mailbox. I'm just sitting, what used to take me half an hour in the morning now takes the whole morning. And so when you hit that threshold, now Copilot is a very useful tool built into your Outlook where it will summarize, it will raise to the top those important notifications. It'll prioritize your email in an intelligent way. And in the near future, respond to it, right? Which Tristan mentioned too. And so that's the next step after notifications and helping surface the most, surface and prioritize valuable notifications, is responding to them, turning into an action model that can take action based on a set of rules that you help it define. And then after that, you can extend that to things like answering email, answering phone calls, answering text messages, right? And so we use a text message system with Microsoft called Clerk SMS. It has built-in AI tools as well. And so I can turn on all our phone numbers are text and SMS enabled. And so when we get text messages, our AI bot can respond, and it has a full set of fine-tuning prompts. And so it's a little glimpse into what's happening when you're prompting ChatGPT, for example. There's a transparent layer there of prompts that are inserted with your prompt, and that's their safeguarding, right? And so, yes, respond to his question, but don't tell him how to build a nuclear bomb. Yes, respond to his question, but don't give him the ingredients for napalm, like those kinds of things, right? And so with these AI tools for SMS, I can go in there and I can set a list of prompts that it'll insert before responding to any text messages, and also a list of prompts for, hey, if the text message contains this, don't reply and notify me, because that's something that I want to address personally, right? So that ability to start fine tuning its action set and where and when it responds, already coming out, already available. So long story short, use it for content generation. If you're not, that's where you should get started, because those tools are maturing and they're very, very good to use now. And then start looking for opportunities to reduce your notification fatigue.
I think much like someone who sees the love of their life for the first time, and there's that like immediate attraction, and you like, I must have her. When you're talking about the ability for AI to answer emails or answer phone calls, I think anyone in the real estate industry is like, oh my God, like the rose-colored glasses go on, and this would just be the greatest thing in my world. Because I think for a lot of people in this industry, that's the one thing that is the most draining, is getting 100, 200 emails, phone calls, texts a day. And it absorbs a lot of your brain power. And if you had something that was able to offload that, it would free up a tremendous amount of workspace for you. So I think anyone who's in the real estate industry listening to this, it's just like, oh my God, I've fallen in love, and like, how fast can we get there? And that's like the really cool part of this, is AI doesn't have to be something that will replace you. It could be something that this is going to make your life a whole lot easier. After we come back from this, I want to hear a little bit more about the integration of AI into each of your businesses, and maybe where it is now and where you'd like to see in the future. We'll just take a quick break and be right back after this. Real estate investing does not have to be a full-time job. Randall, Hoeber, and Boys Group Realty provide complete property management services in Yorkton and surrounding areas, allowing investors to enjoy passive income without the headaches of day-to-day management. From finding tenants to handling maintenance and rent collection. Whether you own a property or just getting started in the market, Randall, Hoeber, and Boys Group Realty makes it simple. Call Randall Hoeber at 306-782-1323 or email info@ralixenterprises.com to take the next step towards hands-free real estate investing. Your property, our expertise. Whether it's your home, business, or farm, Pioneer Solar and Renewables has you covered. As leaders in residential, commercial, and agriculture solar solutions, they make clean energy easy and affordable. Visit pioneersolarenergy.com or give them a call to begin harnessing the power of the sun today. Are you investing in real estate? Let Krishna with Boys Group Realty take care of everything. Finding properties, purchasing, renovations, leasing, and management, leaving you to focus on building wealth. Whether it's a single rental or an entire portfolio, serving Saskatchewan and surrounding areas, helping maximize cash flows and minimize stress. If you're looking for an expert to manage your investments, reach out today, home@meetkrishna.ca. Welcome back to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast, talking about real estate, AI, and how it's influencing our businesses. And one of the people I'm most impressed with in Saskatchewan is Tristan Herring, with how you're constantly innovating with AI, Tristan, and you're not just, oh, I'll just take it as it is and leaving things where they are. You're constantly innovating with new technology, and I think that's one of the benefits of you being a new agent, is you're not just setting back and doing what everyone else does. So walk me through, Tristan, moving forward in your business, where do you see you evolving with AI, or where are places that you'd like to take your business further with artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so I mean, we did already kind of talk about some of the tools. And to touch on that, I did miss one that I want to mention, was for something like what we're doing right now, a podcast style interview, opus clip, to be able to take this entire video and chop it into like 100 short form videos and put B-roll on top of that, AI generated B-roll. That's one tool I forgot to mention that's been massive for me lately. But like you said, where do I want to see it go? I think it's just going to get so much smarter. The initial launch, like as we discussed before the interview, of ChatGPT was like a grade 3 student, like it was kind of smart. It could do some things, but it wasn't like creative, and it was kind of like robotic. And then eventually that got better. So same thing with my CRM system right now. It's like the first initial reactions, or I guess the first initial conversations that this AI bot is having with people when they talk to me through my CRM system is, not well trained, I guess. Maybe that's on my part, because you can train the bot how you'd like it. But I'd like to see the AI get more personable, I guess, and more easy to talk to as a human. Because right now responses are very robotic, and that's why in my system I've trained my AI to be very forward towards just getting them an initial reaction and response so that they don't feel like they're being ignored, and then just trying to book an appointment with me. Whereas what I want to do is, where I'm trying to train it, is to be a well-scripted ISA. If anyone doesn't know what an ISA is, it's an inside sales agent. So basically someone who can qualify leads. I've uploaded into our CRM like the Saskatchewan Real Estate Association page. So it's pulling statistics and data from there. I've tried to upload scripts, like real estate scripts, to it, as well as the CREA page. So it's up to date on mortgage rates and the exact statistics of the housing market in Saskatchewan. So I'd like to get it smart enough to be able to phone for sale by owners. Nobody likes calling for sale by owners. Everyone knows why. But if you could train it to be smart enough to cold call a list of for sale by owner numbers, and all you do is just feed data to it and then filter through the leads and pick through the good ones, you could seriously do a lot of business if you could figure that out. Even better yet would be to streamline my transactions. So if somebody is in the middle of a transaction with me and they have standard questions that everybody has, like, what do I do now? Well, it's like, okay, we got to book the home inspection, or we got to send the documents to Ron, or we got to, pull a PID or this and stuff, like general reminders to the buyers that the AI could answer and kind of guide them through the process. Because for us, that's everyday questions. It's knowledge to us on how to go through a transaction. Whereas if you had the customer service side of the AI to like help kind of nurture that first time buyer through that transaction, would save a lot of 10 p.m. phone calls with freaking out buyers. So that's where I'd like to see it go. I think we're not far from there. So
that is the really cool part, that it actually doesn't seem like we're that far away from a few of those little polishing movements to take care of some of those more personal touches. Same question to you, Shayne. How are you currently utilizing AI tools? Where would you like to see AI take your business in the future?
Yeah, for sure. We use AI extensively in several areas. We use it in productivity, and so across our Microsoft software, which we're a 98% Microsoft shop, so we use it extensively. One of the things we recently did was we're starting to build a proper knowledge base in our business. So at the top level, that's a internal SharePoint site that has two main roots, which is policies and procedures. Policies being what we do, and procedures is how we do it, and so they link together. So that is a instruction manual and also guidelines and ethics. And as it's getting developed, as it's getting bigger, you run into this problem with all large knowledge bases, which is just at a certain point they become very difficult to navigate. They have to be, and that's where historically search comes in. So you get to a point where the tree is just too big, and the only person who knows how it's organized is the person who set it up. And for it to be useful to other people, they have to be able to go in and search. So now what we've done is taken that library and fed it to essentially a ChatGPT bot, a Copilot bot. So we have a bot that has ingested our entire knowledge base, and it sits in our teams, and now we talk to it. And so when I say, what's our policy for onboarding a new tenant, or what's our procedure for securing a Microsoft environment, then it will pull from our knowledge base and give our internal rules. And then it will expound by also searching the net and comparing it to the sites that we've designated that it should also compare with, which is, Reddit, Stack Overflow, and a few others. And so a useful tool internally for that, as well as we use it in integration. And so for scripting and coding, it's very useful for speeding up that process. Still takes an experienced programmer to make sure it's giving you things that aren't hallucinations, but still very useful. I would say the places that we're most excited about using it, one is just kind of emphasizing to our customers now that are starting. So this is the year where we're starting to say, look, you should have at least a couple of people in your business that are using this stuff. You need to understand where it applies to your processes, so you don't miss the train, so you're not left behind by other companies that are going to use this for their competitive advantage in the market. And part of that is just this understanding of the parallel nature of this tool, right? And so it's hard for people, it seems simple in retrospect, but it's hard for people to initially understand that we're talking about something that has much more bandwidth than a typical person has. And by that, I mean, it's hard to talk, it would be, for most people, almost a crazy experience to try to hold two simultaneous conversations with two separate people at the same time. Whereas these AI agents will talk and text and email 10 or 100 people simultaneously, and you can skin them and train them on your voice. Like they can impersonate you very effectively now. And so the idea that you could have this multiplication of labor, people think, oh, well, I'd have to have an agent per stream, but that's not the nature of this tool. The nature of this tool is you have an agent that is limited only by its compute. And so you add more CPUs and RAM and GPUs to its base, and it talks to more people at once, right? And so that part, and kind of getting people to test that aspect of it out. And then the other piece that we're really interested in is computer vision. And so this is where I think it spills over into your territory quite a bit. We deal with some of the bigger construction and mechanical firms in the province. And so a big thing that we're excited about there is, in the same way that we had it ingest our internal knowledge base, I can have it ingest all the provincial building codes and construction codes. And so for our clients who are going on site and on job sites and building structures and putting all kinds of equipment into structures, I think it's very valuable for them to be able to, wear a set of cameras that will essentially model the space that they're in and identify features or aspects of their environment that are against the set of codes that it's ingested. And so having this expert knowledge base that's always up to date on code, that understands all the conflicts in the older and newer code, and that's there to flag warnings for you, that's one step short of it being a home inspector, right? And so for home inspectors, it should be a very exciting tool because it'll speed up their process quite a bit, you would think. And it's also an exciting tool for everybody else who wants to, see what it's going to flag and find on property when they walk through it.
Shayne, I know you're a fairly philosophical person, so I want to throw this one at you here. As Tristan was outlining, as you're outlining, with the ability of people to, I don't want to say inauthentically connect, but with technology to connect with hundreds of people, there's going to be a bombardment of this from the consumer standpoint. Now, how then does the consumer react to this? Do we then just stop answering our phones and our texts and our emails?
Yeah, I would say, very generally speaking, the reaction from the consumer will be poor. And so one of the things I think we're very bad at is dealing with problems of abundance. And we're really talking about at the root of this is an abundance of information. These AIs across the board are going to generate orders of magnitude more information, whether you're talking about, 1,000,000 times more images, 1,000,000 times more videos, 1,000,000 times more phone calls, emails. We're just talking about 1,000,000 times more information across the board. And so I think going back to your original question, generally speaking, when new technology emerges, most people are scared of the wrong thing, right? They don't understand it and they're worried about, I guess, the most extreme cases that they've read or watched in media, in fiction typically. And so the real threat here is not Terminator. The real threat here is isolation. And so I think this is one of the risks of this technology, is that you end up with people not even sure if they're talking to people anymore, who are maybe their whole life is surrounded by talking and interacting with AI agents. And, there's a scary opportunity, there's a scary potential there to be put in a self-reinforcing bubble that causes you to spiral and not to have any real person that can kind of reach in and pull you out of that. And so I think the risks are all associated with the abundance that comes with this, also the rewards, like also the upside is that. And so it's just something where ultimately this technology is going to cause a lot of disparity, in a lot of different ways. One of the ways will be early adopters are going to accelerate and they're going to, be pushed out front of their competition very quickly. But other ways include, it's going to isolate you. It's going to make it harder for you to tell when you're interacting with a person or not. Yeah. So my hope is that this, the solution to that is probably more face-to-face time, right? And so hopefully we'll see that, but I suspect the opposite will be true. It'll be easier and easier for people to never leave their house, to never interact with people.
Brilliant. Tristan, and kind of on this same vein, as someone who creates a lot of unique, engaging content using AI, but there's also a lot that you do that is just real video of you in the space. So what is kind of the combination there where you have like your personality, but you're also using those AI tools? And is it something that Shayne's kind of alluding to, that it's you in the video, and so that also kind of creates that special spark? And is that something that you go for when you're creating that great content?
Yeah, I think it's still, I mean, to this day, hard to replace a human on camera. Just their unique personalities and tendencies and movements and whatnot. But I think a lot of people overlook how much AI is behind the scenes of just a person on video. We kind of touched on it before, but AI is probably helping you generate the idea of what you're about to talk about on video, or at least giving you the inspiration to get there. The script itself, potentially, the captions, the video editing itself, the lighting was probably enhanced with AI, the sound, the whole thing. The gaps in the sentences. For me, somebody like when I'm doing long form content, if I'm sitting in front of a camera, I'll sit here for like 20 seconds thinking about what I'm going to say. And you can just use AI to chop that gap, you know. You
I
should
can
able
also use AI to reproduce it.
Yeah.
So just like the only thing I want to say, sorry to cut you off, Tristan, is just that
No.
I'm in 5 live podcasts right now, and you don't know which one's me.
That's so not true, because I tried to call Shayne and he didn't respond, so I know it's the authentic Shayne. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying I can have, it learns. It'll gauge all your idiosyncrasies and reproduce them. So if you're pausing and I want it to be more authentic, I'm going to tell it reproduce my pauses, and it's going to reproduce my pauses. You're not going to know.
That'll be a fascinating way to see where this takes us. That, will you be able to tell that the AI is, a very version of you? I think, just my personal opinion is, because humans are ever evolving, you could have an AI snapshot of you when you're Ron at 33 years of age, but by the time I'm 34, I'll be a different person. And so I think, Shayne will correct me, but there'll always be maybe an authenticity marker that makes humans more special. Like, we still like to watch humans play chess versus watching AIs play chess, and I think there's still going to be a beauty in that. Just we're almost at the end here, guys, but I wanted to get your take on the future of the real estate industry. Give me a prediction where we're headed. You can pick timelines here, but just give me a general sense of where you think things are headed. We'll start with you, Shayne.
With the real estate market, I think you're going to see it get more and more efficient because of these tools. So hopefully that means, as a buyer, as a seller, as customers in the real estate market, either way, that you're going to have a more streamlined experience. You're going to get more value for the services that you engage with. You're going to have more information that's more accurate, that's more timely. So all of those things are great. And so I look forward to that quite a bit. I also am excited to see, as part of that more information side of things, the ability to have more complete and thorough virtual walkthroughs, the ability to take my furniture and belongings and place them in the places that I might buy, the ability to quickly connect with buying groups and other things like that on the investment side. So I think all those tools become more transparent and more valuable.
Brilliant.
To the consumer.
Thanks, Shayne. Same question to you, Tristan.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing, I think, because we did kind of touch on, if somebody else can handle some of these tasks or these distractions, that someone as an agent gets, where you're distracted with millions of different ongoing conversations and text messages. I think it's going to actually allow you a better experience with your clients. You're going to actually, when you're in front of them, when you finally meet them for the listing appointment, when you finally meet them for showing houses, you're actually going to get a better experience with the agent, because they can push away some of the distractions, and they have, an AI on the back end answering a lot of the distractions, or at least filtering through them. That's kind of how I see it, because at the end of the day, they're not going to let robots show houses. You know what I mean? It's a safety issue. You can't, you need to be, you need to have a background check to allow people into someone else's home. You can't just allow criminals into houses. So that's probably going to be our biggest rule moving forward, is that a robot's not going to show a house. So
I'd just like to jump in there and say, one of the things that realtors who are watching this should keep in mind is this is a good example of quickly emerging technology that's very, usually you see tools like this come out, and Copilot kind of makes you think, wow, this is a tool by giant companies for giant companies. But the truth is, very large organizations struggle to implement emerging technology. It's very hard for them to pivot. It's very hard for them to introduce new tools and procedures across their whole workforce. So it's a great opportunity for smaller shops to get a competitive advantage, right? To get out ahead of companies that's going to take them years to implement this stuff. You could have it up and running in months.
Love it. Okay. Just before we get to your gentleman's contact info, what's a piece of advice you would give to a younger version of yourself? We'll start with you, Tristan.
Adopt it, use it, learn it. Got to surround yourself in it as soon as you can. Because actually, I almost neglected a little bit AI when it first launched. I was like, how's this going to help me? But it's because I didn't know how to use it. As soon as I surrounded myself with people who were using it in a way that was beneficial, or at least understood it enough to take advantage of it, then it made sense. But yeah, just completely surround yourself. You know, people used to, it's like the calculator, right? You're not going to have access to a calculator is what people would tell you. Now it's like, well, yeah, actually we carry one all the time, which we carry an AI with us all the time. So yeah.
Brilliant. Same question to you, Shayne. Piece of advice you would give to young Mr. Zaba?
Well, I know what advice I would give. I don't know if young me would have listened to it, because it's hard advice to hear when you're hungry and looking to make money. But the truth is, it's not a zero-sum game out there. You know, it's very much about us living in a time of abundance where you need to be focused on output. And I think that's more important today than ever. You have to be careful that you don't fill your time with consumption, in particular of information, not doom scrolling all day on Facebook and Twitter or whatever, right? It's about making sure you realize that now is an incredible time where you can produce more than you've ever been able to, whether it's digital or otherwise. There's more tools out there to give you more time to be more productive. And I don't necessarily mean productive in the traditional sense. I mean actually producing unique work that satisfies you from a creative standpoint even, right? So for me, I wish I would have taken time to build more programs. There's more ideas I've had for building software that I've never taken the time to do, and it's frustrating because I sure spend enough time consuming information that I could have taken some time out of that to produce more unique products and to be more in tune with how these tools can help me do that.
Wonderful. Okay, gentlemen, you've provided so much valuable information for folks who listened or watched this. Tristan, if you know someone who is, if someone's an agent who's like, geez, a lot of this sounds really interesting, or someone's looking at buying or selling, give us a few ideas how people can get in contact with you and what you can provide to them.
Yeah, so I mean, you can check me out on Instagram at Tristan Herring, SK Realtor. You can, I'm also on TikTok. Those are my main two platforms. If you just send me a DM on there, that's probably my most likely to respond in the shortest amount of time. So, or if you look me up on Google My Business, Tristan Herring, my phone number should be there, and my email. So
tell us a little bit more about the school that you've started and how you're helping other agents as well.
Yeah, so I mean, as you know, I'm at a cloud-based brokerage, so helping others is beneficial, you know, to my own bottom line. So I developed, if you don't know what school is, you need to, because there's so much to learn on there. But basically, this CRM system that I have is I can give people access to it, and I will teach them how to use it in the school community. And first of all, if you're not using a CRM system as a realtor, we need to talk, like yesterday. And if you're not using an AI-powered one, you're going to be behind the 8 ball very soon. So reach out to me, DM me. We can go through, you know, a call, and I can explain it in a lot more detail. I can't really give an elevator pitch on what it is because it's too much to explain all at once. But yeah, it's also got social media tips in there. It's got tips about ManyChat, which is another AI tool. It's got tips with Zapier, scripts, coaching, you know, everything for an agent. So
brilliant. Thanks, Tristan. And Shayne, you are my go-to guy for everything IT and AI. If you're in Saskatchewan, specifically Saskatoon area, Shayne's just fantastic for whatever business you do have. Shayne, tell us a little bit about what you offer, your servicing area, and how people can get in contact with you. The Saskatchewan Realtors Association supports over 1,700 realtors across the province. Their members provide expert insights to help you navigate the market. Visit sra.ca for monthly stats, industry updates, and to find a realtor near you.
Thanks, Ron. You're my go-to guy too, buddy.
For podcasting?
For everything. So I would say we focus on two main aspects of your business. We focus on continuity first, and then productivity. And so I think, especially with AI, it's as you said, rose-colored glasses. There's a field of opportunity emerging. It's very exciting, but you want to be very careful about building new features on top of rickety supports. And so you need to be aware of the risks you're taking. You need to mitigate them, or at least get insurance for them, and so that they don't close your business unexpectedly. So we focus on helping you see the risks for the technologies you're implementing and making sure that you're mitigating those risks. And then productivity side, taking things like Tristan mentioned, Zapier is a good one for integrating databases and that kind of thing, where we can help you see the realistic path to integrating different databases and technologies and planning a budget and a cost for that. And so certainly always open to talking with people about that and kind of helping them figure out the difference between what they've heard and what's real. You can always find us at nics.ca. We've got a new website up there, and so there's lots of ways to get in touch with us on that site.
And just quickly remind us of servicing area, Shayne. Are you strictly Saskatoon-based, provincial? Walk us through where you would service.
We are worldwide, my friend.
Okay.
And I can't wait to get a 24-hour cycle going. We just got our first couple of clients in the States. We've got some full-service clients now in Minneapolis, and so bring those US dollars on. We're here for it.
Those US dollars are more important than ever with a low Canadian dollar. Gentlemen, thank you for a very in-depth discussion. I know this can be a really broad topic, and there is a lot of fear involved around AI and what it can and will do, but I think you've explained brilliantly how there is so much to be positive and opportunistic in a perfect way to say how much this is going to assist and help people. And as you alluded to, Shayne, realistically serve clients better. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you for having me. It was great to be here. Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. Don't be a stranger. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or investing in real estate, I'm here to help you navigate the mortgage process in both Saskatchewan and Alberta. Use the booking link below to schedule a time to chat. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a valuable piece of real estate information. Until next week, I'm Ron Quaroni, your Saskatchewan mortgage professional. Bye for now.